Ian watched his wife die in a car accident right before his eyes, but the next morning when he woke up, he was shocked to find his dead wife sleeping beside him. Ian was so scared he couldn't speak. He couldn't believe his dead wife was right there in front of him. When he felt her warm, real body temperature, his terrified heart finally calmed down. He held his wife tightly in his arms like she was precious treasure. He promised himself he would treasure this second chance at love. But the next moment, everything from yesterday started happening all over again. When Ian got dressed and ready to leave, he realized he was wearing yesterday's suit. This made him feel uneasy, so he decided to change into something different. He remembered how his wife had burned her hand on the kettle while making breakfast yesterday. When he rushed to warn her, she grabbed a towel for protection. Luckily, yesterday's accident didn't happen again, and Ian felt relieved. But what happened next made him realize things were way beyond his understanding. During an intimate moment, she got burned by a curling iron. The burn was in exactly the same spot as yesterday. This made Ian doubt everything he thought he knew. To test his theory, Ian suggested taking a different route at an intersection. He clearly remembered his wife getting coffee spilled on her on that street yesterday. Even though they took a different path, he thought they had avoided trouble. But just as he let his guard down, a random person walking by spilled coffee all over them. Ian's fear and panic hit him like a flood. He saw his wife covered in coffee, her clothes soaked. He finally understood that yesterday wasn't a dream at all. From wearing the same suit to his wife's burn injury and now this coffee-stained shirt, everything proved his theory. Today's events were just happening in a different way. His wife wondered if it was all just coincidence, but Ian couldn't bring himself to tell her she was going to die in a car accident. To calm Ian's worries, his wife offered to go with him to his office. When they arrived, Ian checked his watch and saw it was perfectly fine. His worried heart finally settled down. With Samantha's comfort, Ian's fears disappeared. But during the meeting, Ian kept looking back at the door. He clearly remembered Samantha bursting into the meeting yesterday. After waiting a long time and not seeing her, Ian started to relax. But he didn't know his wife was already hiding behind him. This time she didn't come in. Later he told his friend about this strange dream. His friend couldn't believe he would have such a crazy dream. When he accidentally caught a ball that had broken a glass, everything suddenly made sense. He realized all these things would happen, just at different times and in different order. After saying goodbye to his friend, he immediately decided to find his wife. When he got in a taxi, he was surprised to see it was the same driver from yesterday. The driver's creepy smile seemed to know everything that was happening. Ian tried to ask questions to solve the mystery in his mind.
Is that gonna happen? Is it? Tell me, what can I do? There must be something I can do.
Just one thing. Just love her.
Ian got out and ran desperately through the city. The only thing on his mind was finding Samantha as quickly as possible. He called Samantha frantically but got no answer. Panic rose in his chest. He searched everywhere Samantha might be in the tall buildings of the city. Finally, he saw a familiar figure in a clothing store. He rushed into the store out of breath and grabbed Samantha's hand. He tried to explain everything that had happened, talking fast and barely making sense. Even though Samantha still couldn't believe it was just a dream, Ian told her they had to leave immediately. They could go anywhere, but they had to leave London. They had to leave this place where he would lose Samantha. But as they walked out of the store, a car accident suddenly happened right in front of Ian. No one got hurt, but this unexpected crash brought back all of Ian's fears. At the train station, Ian let Samantha decide where they should go. They got on a departing train. As the scenery passed by, Ian felt strangely familiar with everything. He couldn't help asking Samantha where they were actually going. To his surprise, Samantha had bought tickets to his hometown. It turned out Samantha had read in his diary that he wanted to visit home, but he could never get away from work. This brought tears to Ian's eyes. He never knew his wife's love was so thoughtful and gentle. He became even more determined not to lose his wife. Just as they were about to reach their destination, it started pouring rain. Luckily, there was a small stone cabin nearby where they could warm each other up. The terrible storm made the temperature drop fast. The cold made them both shiver. Ian found some wood to make a fire for warmth, but he accidentally knocked into his watch. When he looked at it, he saw it was broken just like before. He realized this was heaven giving him another chance to love her. He promised himself he would never lose his wife again. Thinking about watching his beloved wife die right in front of him, his heart felt like it was being cut with a knife. He slowly got up and looked at his wife. His eyes were full of regret and love. Seeing his wife's happy face, she looked so beautiful. Maybe he would never see her again. Tears filled his eyes. Afraid his wife would notice, he went to the window, looking at the heavy rain outside. His heart felt just as stormy. Ian tried hard to calm his sad feelings, but no matter how hard he tried, the sadness kept coming back. He turned around and couldn't hold back his tears anymore. When his wife showed concern, he held back his sadness and asked her a strange question.
If you had one day left, what would you do?
His wife thought the question was interesting. After thinking about it, she said she would want to buy shoes she liked and eat as much ice cream as possible. But looking at Ian's serious expression,
It's an easy answer.
a no-brainer. I'd spend it with you.
Really?
Yeah, of course. Just being together, kind of like now. Doing nothing.
Hearing his wife's firm choice to be with him, he gritted his teeth. He tried hard not to let tears fall, but the sadness in his eyes was impossible to hide. At that moment, he finally understood what love really meant. He realized he had missed so many moments when he should have been taking care of his girlfriend. All those warm times together, sweet words, and careful attention had been ignored because of work. He had been blind to her love. All his regrets and feelings could only become one simple love confession.
I love you.
Then they walked on a small bridge together, but his wife suddenly said she wanted to go back to London. She had to attend an important graduation concert, even though Ian tried to stop her. Samantha had been waiting 16 years for this performance. How could she miss her graduation? Ian wanted to convince Samantha to stay, but thinking about how she had worked toward this dream for 16 years. How many 16 years does a person get? Since he couldn't change what would happen, he would treat every moment like the end. No regrets. He made a plan in his mind, and they both headed back to London. When they got home, he secretly took his wife's original songs. He went to a copy shop and made copies of her music. To give his wife courage, he took her on the Ferris wheel she had always been afraid of but secretly wanted to ride. When it was time for Samantha's show, he bought flowers and went to the theater where she was performing. He talked to the organizers about Samantha's songs. Soon her sheet music was handed out to all the staff. He knew his wife had wanted to be a singer since she was little, but Samantha had never gotten the chance. After the first performance ended, Samantha was shocked to discover that the next song was one she had written herself. She stood there confused, wondering how her song had ended up here. Then she heard Ian's voice as he took the microphone and walked onto the stage.
Samantha Andrews, a visiting artist from America, has agreed to grace us with one of her own compositions. Samantha?
She immediately backed away, nervous and scared. After all, she had never been on such a big stage before. Ian had to come over and encourage her.
You are in big trouble.
She nervously stepped onto the stage. Ian's confident look seemed to give her endless courage. When she trembled and sang the first line, everyone was immediately drawn to the beautiful melody. She became more confident and started singing with all her heart. Her gentle voice was like a clear river flowing through everyone's hearts. It made countless people stand up without realizing it. The beautiful notes created ripples in Samantha's voice. They echoed throughout the entire theater. It seemed to transport the audience into the performance. It was mesmerizing, like a ray of sunshine warming up a lonely world. When the song ended, Samantha had finally achieved her dream. The two hugged tightly, sharing this moment of joy together. After the show, Samantha was lost in this wonderful surprise. She couldn't stop smiling. Her dream had come true right under Ian's watchful eyes. It felt like the happiest moment ever. Then he took his wife to a romantic restaurant for dinner. This was the place where they had their first date, remembering the beautiful moments when they fell in love. Every moment seemed full of romance and happiness under the dim lights. But Ian started asking about the doubts in his heart.
But you didn't come to work today. I didn't see you.
I know. I came to bring you the blue folder, but you already had it, so I just sort of slipped away. You did look really cute, by the way.
Fear and worry immediately rushed over him. He knew this day would eventually come, so he took out a gift he had carefully prepared and put it on Samantha's wrist. Every musical note on it was handmade by Ian himself. Ian told Samantha the meaning behind each note. The most beautiful love in the world is being brave enough to give everything for someone. Even if you get hurt badly, you have no regrets. After dinner, it unexpectedly started pouring rain. Ian knew he didn't have much time left with his love. Looking at the heavy rain and the traffic lights in the distance, memories of that night came flooding back like a tide. He wished time could stop right here. He wanted to tell his wife everything in his heart. Just then, a taxi arrived. Samantha got in without hesitation. This time was different though. Ian wouldn't let Samantha go home alone. He got in too without hesitation. Strangely, the driver was the same old man from before. The driver's creepy smile made Ian uncomfortable. Ian felt uneasy and his breathing became heavy. Scene after scene flashed through his mind. It was exactly 11 o'clock. Without any surprise, the car crash happened right on schedule. He threw himself over Samantha without hesitation. But this time only Samantha woke up. Ian was gone forever. He had used his own life to break this curse. She finally understood that everything her husband had said about the dream was real. She regretted not believing him in the first place. Samantha was heartbroken.
Right before we got into the cab, he told me about how I taught him to love. Loving him was so easy for me. He just wanted to say everything.
She would never be able to spend the rest of her life with Ian again. In his final moment, the man chose to love her well one more time.